Hello, everybody. This is Dwayne Fletcher with Fletcher Community Media. Um, some of you may know me by some of the action novels that I write. Got a couple of action novels out here. I got more than this published, but uh, Codename Lionfish talks about Chinese spies. Came here to Jacksonville. They caught them at the military base. Let's see. Dance of the Mongoose talks about the coronavirus, the events just before the coronavirus hit in 2020. And this one talks about, this is Fox Hunt. This talks about that somebody tried to sell JEA, and there's a conspiracy theory basically that there was like a foreign government influencing the people to try to sell JEA repeatedly. It's a classic oligarch move where they tried to pretend like JEA wasn't making any money, like they're doing again right now. All of a sudden, everybody's bill has just doubled here in Jacksonville over the last couple of months. It looks to me like the FBI just recently unsealed an indictment so that they can tell everybody who was indicted and who's being watched and who's going to be subpoenaed. And right after this indictment was unsealed, this federal indictment was unsealed, the rates went up. So it looks to me like there's still some more bad guys in there inside the company, possibly, and they're trying to use the customers to overtalk the federal investigation. And because there was this guy, he got on TV, one of the new JEA spokesmen got on TV the other day, and he's like, where we're using coal and blah 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 blah, and they imploded the coal-fired plants like 2 years ago, but now he's claiming that he's not making any money again. This is like the third time we've here in town have heard this. These people cry about this stuff. But it looks to me like they're basically over and over again keep pulling off these little schemes to justify them trying to sell JEA. Okay, so I don't think they should sell it. Like I said, it looks to me like it was a classic oligarch move anyway. They claim they're not making any money, then they got to sell it to somebody for cheap, and then somebody on the inside makes a guy who was making like, I think the ex-CEO was making like $60,000-$70,000 a year, and then all of a sudden, if he would have sold JEA, he would have been making he would have made about $700 million to put in his pocket by himself. He would have got like 10% of them selling it for half price at $7 billion or something like that. So but the FBI has them. They're in custody. They've been going back and forth to trial. They've been indicted, and they're snitching on each other. And the new CEO wants to bring down the mayor, and he's pointing at the mayor. So it's going to get interesting. But it looks like that's what it was. It's a classic oligarch move where he tried to sell JEA, claim they weren't making any money. He's doing it again right now. It's going on right now in Jacksonville, Florida, that they're trying to raise the rates again and use the customers to overtalk the feds and say they're not making any money. And the other night when he was claiming he wasn't making any money, he said that he was using coal. I was like, Jesus Christ! They just got through buying this guy. All kind of solar panels. They bought stupid solar panels, and they ran around going, don't you say anything to my Chinese friends. Don't say anything to my Chinese friends that own that solar panel company. Leave them alone. You leave them alone. And they bought all these solar panels. And then he imploded. The towers after he got through throwing his hissy fit and his tantrums over people scrutinizing them trying to sell JEA. Then he was defending the Chinese, and you leave my Chinese friends alone. Well, I'm going to implode the towers then. And then he imploded the towers after they got caught up in all of this stuff. And so then everybody had to rely on these solar panels, which it looks like that was their move anyway. So, and I know this sounds outlandish, but I honestly believe that Homeland Security right here in Jacksonville has the receipts for this. It looks to me like they may have used the Homeland Security agents to investigate their other people and stuff. The people that basically doubted that they should sell anyway. Like, they probably investigate a bunch of their own employees, people like myself who wrote action novels about it and stuff like that. I wrote an action novel about it. It was some interesting material. As a matter of fact, there's a delegation here in town from Africa that said that they want to study this stuff that was going on about JEA, and that it should be filmed into a movie. They said it was so interesting it should be filmed into a movie. That's what this delegation from Africa they basically talked about when they came here to Jacksonville. They said they couldn't believe that there was that much corruption in the upper echelon of the power company here. But it is what it is. You just got to nip it in the bud. And like I said, again, they're up to this stuff again. They're up to it again, and they're trying to say they're not making any money and trying to use the customers complaining about their bills to overtalk the feds. They're not going to overtalk the feds because they got them now, and they're pointing at each other. They're pointing at each other, not pointing at their bill. So I don't think that's going to work. It never has. It'll be like the next thing out of this guy's mouth. The next thing out of this guy's mouth is he's going to want to build a nuclear reactor or something here in Jacksonville, because nobody believes him that he's not making any money, because he keeps getting caught in lies and stuff like that. They fire one CEO, another one takes over, he gets caught up in the same lie. He's under indictment now. Okay, he gets caught up in the same lie. Then it'll be, and this is the third part of it right now, where they're starting it again. Oh, we're not making any money. Like, you forgot 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago, he threw a big ass tantrum about people talking about him trying to sell JEA, and about the people bashing the new Chinese solar panel company that came to town, even though there's sanctions against the Chinese solar panels. They've been using slave labor, even though there's tariffs on the different components that they bring in that America was making no money off of until they start putting out tariff stuff. Even though there's new reports from these different people about the different stuff that's been, even though the Homeland Security and Customs in California has basically blocked the Chinese out and left their products, the Chinese solar panel products, sitting on the dock, they still have some different shenanigans going on, even though the sanctions against them, and they've been using slave labor and blah 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 blah, and even though there's all this stuff against them, they still find some kind of way to have. They still kind of find some kind of way to have something to say. So it's going to be interesting, because it looks like it's starting all over again with them saying they're not making any money and stuff like that. So maybe that'll be Fox Hunt Part 2 or Fox Hunt Part 3. Fox Hunt Part 2 or Fox Hunt Part 3. And I'll get another action novel out of it or something like that, because I doubt if they're going to sell it. They always get caught in lies and stuff like that anyway. So, but okay, what I want to talk about here also is some stuff that's going on overseas. Now, that's my local news for today, but what I want to talk about is what's going on overseas, and let's talk about what's going on in Hungary. I don't know if some of y'all paying attention to this, but the new, Hungarian Minister of Foreign Affairs deal with Russia. Okay, so basically, this guy right here, here's a good picture of him and Sergei Lavrov. But I think his name is Pete Zajarto. Okay, Pete Zajarto, he's the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Hungary. And he has made a new deal with his buddy right there, Sergei Lavrov of Russia, to make some nuclear power plants, build 2 new nuclear power plants in Hungary. Okay, now it looks to me that the timing of this is very ill-fated, very ill-fated. Number one, there's a bunch of controversy with Russia even owning or operating anything like this, because you know what they do with it. They hold it as blackmail, and they do nuclear blackmail. That's what the Russians do now. This is the equivalent of him allowing Russian nuclear weapons to be stationed there. At this point, at this stage of the game, this is the equivalent of him allowing the Russians to put nuclear weapons there. You know, I mean, because eventually Hungary also will become his hostage to these 2 new nuclear power plants. And I spoke about this at the city council meeting the other night, and it's like you only get a couple of minutes to talk while you're up there. So I'm making this video today mainly to talk about this, because it looks to me like this is going to cause so many problems on different scales that people need to be aware of it. And I talk about it because I see what happened when they had all of this stuff happening going on here in Jacksonville, and there was a lot of controversy about what was going on here in Jacksonville. So I'm gonna and what I did was I had to brush. I reread my own book the other night. I reread because I wanted to brush up on some of the different things that happened while when they came to town, because it's going to happen over there now. Okay, the thing was that first of all, you can expect an influx of like Russian construction workers. There's going to be an influx of like Russian construction workers that come to that go over there to Hungary to build this thing. And more than likely, because it's a back door to Ukraine, it's probably going to be Russian soldiers dressed as construction workers. Some of them will be. Then they'll be trying to sneak back and forth across the border, of course. And then, of course, there's going to be equipment that they bring in. They're going to bring in equipment. It's going to look like some little gadget or doohickey or something, some kind of computer, something, but really it's actually some hacking equipment. It's actually some type of hacking equipment for them to hack into the different Wi-Fi networks, cell phone networks, analog networks, digital networks, RF signal networks. They're going to have stuff that blocks all of that stuff and hacks into it. Basically, they could like use your cell phone while it's in your pocket without you even knowing it, and stuff like that. Now, the offices, their headquarters for the offices of these 2 new power plants, well, it's supposed to be some type of extension, but it might, if under normal circumstances, it might be just an extension, but I doubt it very seriously, because they're in an active theater, and this is a back door to their active theater. This is clearly some type of back door to the active theater that's going on in Ukraine. I don't think that it would not be as attractive of a deal to make if there wasn't fighting going on in Ukraine. I'm pretty sure that's the reason that they're doing it. But they're gonna, like the Hungarian intelligence network, they're probably gonna move the office to this thing right next door to that. And that's something else that went on here that I talked about. What I had to actually get on my own city council here, because there was this thing called DEFCON Fox Hunt that was on the that was basically on the internet years ago, where the Chinese were talking about recruiting talent for a fox hunt, which means that basically they were looking for people to basically help them steal secrets in America. They're looking for people to help them get them next to American military bases. They were looking for people to help them get to American federal buildings, stuff like that, so they can hack in and steal stuff and stuff like that. and or make payoffs and bribes to the ones that are dirty and stuff like that. But more than likely, the offices, the headquarters of these new power plants, they're gonna move it to like next door to their own intelligence network places and stuff. And now, once they get this stuff in place, once they're done building it, there's going to be mysterious illnesses related to radiation and radiation poisoning. Basically, the Russians are not trustworthy operating a nuclear facility anyway, which we've learned that from the demise of Lyshenko. Lyshenko was a KGB agent that lived in London, ex-KGB agent that lived in London, and he was basically poisoned with polonium-210. And then polonium-210 baffled everybody in London until they started to study it. Agent pointed, let's see, ex-KGB agent poisoned with polonium-210.
According to Wikipedia, Alexander Litvinenko was a former officer of the Russian Federal Security Service and the KGB.
Okay, so basically, this person, he was poisoned and he was an ex-agent. Now, the reason why the Russians shouldn't be trusted operating a nuclear facility is because one of the byproducts of this is a polonium-210, which they have mastered the art of refining this, not to recycle it for power, but to use it as a toxin to poison people with. And they've seen it in action in Europe a couple of times. So they're not trustworthy even operating a facility like this, because he's going to be siphoning off a poison to use to kill people. Basically an assassin's tool and stuff like that. So there's going to be mysterious illnesses and all kinds of stuff once they get done. Now, also, they're going to hire a bunch of probably a bunch of Russian private investigators and Russian security guards to staff this place and watch it, because what they do, there's no other reason why they would do this. It's so they can. It's a Trojan horse. And so they can Trojan horse in and bring in a bunch of military guys and say that they're private investigators and they're security personnel for the facility and stuff like that. There's no other attractive reason for them to do this but to do that. And they're gonna pull fire alarms every 5 minutes. Oh my God, we're in danger. Oh my God, it's Ukraine. Oh my God, we're in danger. Oh God. They're gonna pull fire alarms every 5 minutes and swear to God that it's the Ukrainian refugees that's bothering them. The Ukrainian refugees are just bothering them so much and all of this kind of crap. Like, there's going to be a bunch of baloney. But I can see it coming. I'm pretty sure some of them could actually see it coming too. Now these security guards that they bring in to staff this place and monitor it will basically transmorph into the Hungarian police force, which means that the Hungarian police force and the Hungarian feds or the Hungarian Homeland Security, whatever Hungarian version of Homeland Security is, would all of a sudden be taking orders from a Russian security guard that works for this plant. Okay, I've seen it happen here at the library here in Jacksonville, which is ridiculous. I still haven't figured out how that works. Where there's security guards giving out orders to people and stuff, and cops and stuff like that. But you need to get a handle on this because it's going to affect America. Let's say, for example, basically, what if Homeland Security all of a sudden just went rogue and secretly started harassing people for the Chinese solar panel network? Let's just say something like that happened hypothetically. Let's just say something like that happened hypothetically. Let's say Homeland Security went rogue and just started harassing and investigating people for the Chinese solar panel industry, even though there's sanctions against them, even though their stuff is sitting on the dock in California, where they've been told they can't bring it in because they've been using slave labor to make the solar panels and stuff like that. Even though all that, let's say Homeland Security is still harassing people for them anyway because they're dirty or whatever. But that's what will go on over there, which means if they doing it over there, if they did it over here for the Chinese, they will do it over there for the Russians. And then they're going to be claiming they're going to be lying on people and stuff left and right, saying that it's affecting them. Now, when I brought this up the other night, some people said, well, what does that have to do with Florida? Okay, well, basically, what it has to do with Florida is the fact that the Florida National Guard, our National Guard here in Florida, was just wrapping up some training in Lviv, Ukraine, when Lviv was bombed. And there was a lot of people killed. There was like 35 people killed or something like that. But Lviv is a training facility that the American military has been using to train Ukraine soldiers, and it was bombed, I think, twice. Once before the president came there, and then once right after while President Biden was talking, just across the border in Poland. Now, Lviv is also part of our supply route. So, and this Hungarian border is not that far away from Lviv, which means they're probably going to take another pot shot at Lviv again, but this time from over there, from the back door that's just been opened up by Nuclear Pete. That's what I've been starting to call him. I've been calling him a Nuclear Pete. Let's see. Hungarian Prime Minister. Let's see. Hungarian Foreign Affairs Minister. Let's see. Hungarian Foreign Affairs Minister, deal with Russia. Okay, here we go right here. Again, this guy right here. That's him and his buddy, Sergei Lavrov of Russia. And Sergei Lavrov's real popular over there, but until basically he got denied airspace like real bad a couple of months ago. He wanted to go to Serbia, and he got blocked out by like people who would normally entertain the Russians' bullshit. Montenegro, Romania, Bulgaria, and I think it's part of Macedonia too. They blocked Sergei Lavrov out, but the Hungarians have allowed him in and said that he's going to build this. He's going to build these 2 nuclear power plants and all this kind of stuff. So it's interesting, but Nuclear Pete over here is apparently about to build some type of new spank dungeon for the Russians, and people need to be aware, because that's what it is. He's building, and the reason why I'm not trying to be funny, I'm dead as serious. The reason why I refer to it like it's some kind of spank dungeon is because of some of the folklore that comes from over there. I don't know if some of you may have heard of this person, but there's a person called Elizabeth Bathory. Elizabeth Bathory, that's famous for a famous Hungarian heiress. Let's see. Elizabeth Bathory.
According to Wikipedia,
Okay.
Countess Elizabeth Bathory d'Axt was a Hungarian noblewoman and alleged serial killer from the family of...
Okay, well, this chick, she, Elizabeth Bathory was basically a serial killer, where she believed that when she killed women, her if she drank their blood, she was like a vampire, basically like a vampire. That she's, a matter of fact, she's the other famous vampire from the Baltics. There's 2 famous vampires from the Baltic states. One that, and it's both real, actual legends behind it. Well, one of them, I'll give you one guess who it is. Dracula, of course, right? Count Vladimir von Cool. Excuse me, Dracul. Vladimir von Dracul, Count Vladimir von Dracul, the original one. And he drank blood because he wanted to freak his enemies out. That's why he drank blood. He wanted to freak like the Muslims and Moors out or something like that a long time ago. And so to freak them out, he wanted to drink blood in front of them. But this lady, the other lady, Elizabeth Bathory, she drank blood because she thought that it would make her look young. And they say she killed 600 young girls. And the story of the girls, the legend of these women that were killed has its own legend called the Daughters of a Lesser Gentry. Now, the Daughters of a Lesser Gentry were basically lured in to her castle and her estate, thinking that they were going to get jobs to help her manage her estate. She had vast lands in Hungary, but she would get these young girls there, and then she would chastise them, yell at them, and then some of them she would torture in her own torture chamber, and then cut them up and drink their blood. And this went on for years until an angry mob got together, and basically they bricked her up. They bricked her up inside of her own castle, brick by brick. They bricked up all of her doors and bricked her up inside of her own castle. She eventually died of like malnutrition, starvation, because she couldn't get out to eat or whatever. But some of you should look this up, because it looks like this what could unfold in there, and with Nuclear Pete over here building this new nuclear spank dungeon for the Russians. Well, because the first thing he's going to do is he's going to use the Hungarian police to go after Ukrainian refugees. That's going to be the first thing that he does. And people should be aware of it, because it's not just one lie that ends up over there. It's going to affect a bunch of different stuff in different places and stuff like that. So hopefully people will start to pay attention and do better with allowing this kind of stuff to go on. Personally, I think they should take it to a vote. And like right now, NATO or the United Nations or somebody needs to be involved in this type of decision making, because like I said, at this point with what's going on, it's just like them allowing, it's just like them allowing them to put nuclear weapons there. What's the difference? And you know what's going to happen? Hungary itself is going to end up becoming Russia's hostage. That's what's going to happen. But people need to start paying attention to this stuff. And I just wanted to bring this up because no one wants to see you got these legends, some of these old legends coming all the way back around full circle. That's what the original Dracula was. He was a conqueror. He was a conqueror, and he had this group of people he hated, and he wanted to conquer. He wanted to terrorize them, and that's how the Russians are fighting right now. And then now you got this other thing where he basically is asking the country of Hungary to let him build 2 new nuclear facilities. I wouldn't want them to trust that, And you got to think too, because whoever opens up to this kind of stuff, you're gonna end up being the Russians hostage too. Whichever country is out there, you have to know the end game. He doesn't give a damn about you or whether your lights are on or off. He doesn't give a damn about that. He wants that back door into Ukraine, and that's what that is. So it is what it is, and hopefully we can get a handle on it here in Florida, because I know it's a lot of our Florida guys, our military people from Florida spend a lot of time just across that border in Lviv, and so we need to pay attention to that. That's what it has to do with Florida, and that's why I spoke about it and brought it up, because if you don't pay attention to it, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad on a bunch of different levels and stuff, and so that's all I had to say today. And Fletcher Community Media. If you get a chance to, check me out on blurb.com. Blurb.com under the name Dwayne Fletcher. There it is right there, Duane. Dwayne Fletcher, written by Dwayne Fletcher. Blurb.com, B-L-U-R-B, blurb.com. Dwayne Fletcher, Dance of the Mongoose, very good book. Codename Lionfish, as I got another one called Codename Gemini coming out, and it's going to be about it's going to be about a first responder that's like a hitman for the Russian mafia. And stuff like that. So that's going to be a good story. It's called Codename Gemini. That one's coming out real soon. And also, Fox Hunt talks about how they tried to sell JEA. This story is also ongoing. Again, also, it's years later, and it's still going on. So, some really good material. And of course, I got the Nibble Next, the Battle of the Fletcher, the Nibble Next. Oh, I want to say. I was going to talk about sports, but I don't have any time right now. But the Battle of the Fletcher, the Nibble Necks, the Black Hand, the new Lycanthrope, all of that stuff is coming out real soon too. And so if you get a chance to, check me out on blurb.com. Thank you very much. Fletcher Community Media signing out.